In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the InGameInfoXML mod. This mod gives you custom UIs that you may have seen in certain streams and across the internet. We can do things like give ourselves the day, the time, biome, and in this case, we also have stuff like the light level, experience, frames per second, and other things. So what is the InGameInfoXML mod? The mod that basically is been made available and forked from the original version, use XML instead of the original format, and lets you specify through a language how you want your UI to actually. To install this mod, just basically follow the directions and get it in through Forge, and it'll create a config folder that you can use to actually start to configure it. In this case, I'm using the Ultra Hard Survival mod from the AT launcher, but it should be the same no matter what. Find the config folder and scroll down, and you should find the InGameInfoXML and InGameInfoXML.cfg files. You can skip the InGameInfo CFG file if you see it up top. We don't need that for this video. Open these two files in the editor of your choice. You can use Notepad, Sublime Text 2. In my case, I'm just using Visual Studio. And from there, we can see we now have a blank empty config file. The other file we see can be used just for offsets, as well as specifying the file we want and whether or not to show it in chat. This file can be in XML, JSON, or a regular text file. In this video, I'm going to stick with XML, but in later videos, I will show how to transition to JSON. I find JSON much easier to use and more useful for expressing ourselves. Let's go back here into the InGameInfoXML, and let's start by opening up and adding back in the lines that we want. So I'm going to start with the top left, where we had the day, the time, as well as the biome. So I'm going to start with the lines tag. And the lines tag takes an attribute of @, and I'm going to say top left because I wanted this in the top. There's 9 total possible ones, and we can see that by going back to the config. We get everything from bottom center all the way through top right. So as you might guess, the lines tag takes a. And in there, we're going to do our first bit of logic. I'm going to create a string with the str tag. I'm just going to type something in it. It doesn't matter what. And come back to Minecraft. From there, I can use what's called the IGI reload command. And this just stands for InGameInfo reload. This will reload our UI. And at the top left, it'll display our new command, foobar. That's cool, but let's make it do something a little more interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and specify the day. Come back into Minecraft, reload again, and we can see it's day 0. So let's combine the two of them, and we're going to add back in the time, but I want this time to be in yellow. So I'm going to add in the $sign flag in here, and this is going to change our color into the nice yellow color that we had at the start of the video. Save. And I just realized I hadn't switched over to Visual Studio. You can see that now where we have the $E as our 12-hour time. Let's come back to Minecraft, reload, and we can see now that we have our day and time, but we don't have any of the spacing that we had earlier in the video. To do that with InGameInfo, all we need to do at the end of the tag, add a few spaces in, and that'll give us the formatting we just. Come back and refresh. That's looking pretty good. So I'm going to add in the biome. And all I'm going to do here is say string biome. Now, if all we're doing is specifying a single variable in here, I can actually change string to var. And what that'll do, and I can remove these brackets, and it'll just output the results of whatever biome is. So let's add some spacing and take a look at that real quick. That's looking pretty good. We now have plains in there. Let's talk about why else var is important. Let's say I want to do something like change the color of this biome to be red if we're in the plains. InGameInfoXML contains some logic tags that let us do that, like if, equal, not, greater than, max, less than, min, other things. So I'm going to start off with an if tag, and I'm going to say equal here. And so the equal tag takes 2 subtags, 2 children tags. One of those is the thing we're comparing, and the other one is the thing we're comparing it to. And if we're using a variable, it will only take these var tags. we cannot do, in this case, an injection of biome. That won't work for us. We have to use this var in order to get that in. So what we're saying here is if planes is equal to our biome, we're going to do something here, and if it fails, we're going to do something else. So that's something else. And this is optional. We may not even want to use this. In this case, we don't. No matter what, we're going to want to display the biome, as well as reset our color back to white. But if it is the plains biome, we're going to want to set this to red, and that $4 is the color for red. Let's save that and go back into Minecraft and reload. And we notice here that we didn't actually set that right. We have biome in parentheses. Let's go ahead and fix that. Reason being is that we have our color sigil inside of the var, and so go back to video. So we have to use a string in this case. Back into Minecraft, reloading, and now our plane shows up in red. This is great. So we can say, hey, you know what? Maybe we want our nether to be red, and we can set these colors to our whims. Let's go ahead and add in everything in the bottom. We're going to start off by creating our lines at bottom left. Rid of some extra parentheses. Now I've already written a lot of this, so I'm just going to paste it in, and then we're going to talk about it and kind of run through code actually. We'll break this down more in a later advanced use of in-game. So here I have the light, and what we're doing is we're saying, hey, okay, take this light variable, and if it's above 7.5, set it to green, otherwise set it to another color. And then we display the light. And then we do that for basically the number of feet. And then we show our XP. If you're wondering where to find these variables, the InGameInfoXML site shows everything from time to player to variable to equipment and all the variables you possibly want to customize. Down here, we get our FPS counter, and we say, hey, if it's above 30, go ahead and show it again in green. As well as our entities on screen, as well, and the total entities that are being processed. So if we come back to Minecraft and go ahead and reload that, it's nighttime now, but we can now see that we have the full UI. Hopefully this gets you started with using InGameInfoXML, and thanks a lot for watching.